G'day and welcome back to Ranneko Plays Torment Tides of Numenera, or Tides of Ranmenera. So just before I hit the record button, had a very interesting bit of chat for Rin, which basically is, as disgusting as this place may seem, it sure does seem familiar somehow. So that is pretty interesting to hear. And so last time around we fixed Eox's problem. We also went to the Shrine of Sheila and found out more about the Great Sheila, or Sheila the Great. And now we've got one last group of people to talk to before we move on out of this area. Arechi. These three humanoids wear intricately carved armor that makes them look like undersea dwellers of legend. You cannot recall having seen the materials from which they're shaped either. Though the suits are bulky, their wearers move with a strange, fluid grace. They might have been mistaken for monsters, but their leader is unhelmed and appears human. She has close-cropped hair, an angular face, and her jaw is clenched as if she was subconsciously chewing on a problem. At your approach, she gives you an irritated glance. You address Jemadar Arechi. Speak what you need, or be gone.
Making a note.
She reconsiders her words. Ordinarily, hospitality is ours. Forgive this one. The moor to Anchorage has closed. She indicates a hideous tentacled mouth that lies dead on the center of the platform. Another way we must find. Have you word of open moors that lead to our station? She lowers her voice. Beseech you even, trapped here with the supplies we purchased for our compatriots. This world is getting to me, and the frustration of speaking in a foreign tongue. Tell me, if you want me to help, you'll need to answer some questions. Naturally, this one will seek to provide informative truth. How did you come to be trapped here? Left the anchorage where our ancestors have served for centuries, sought to resupply, as we have done so many times before. On return, the way was closed. Worried now that comrades may suffer without us. Or worse, what if our ship returns while we are absent? No, that's too terrible a thought. Tell me about your anchorage. All the refuge we have ever known. We await the ship that will end our mission and take us home. Captain Janor commands us. If you find the moor and speak to her, perhaps she can tell you more. In a way, I suppose the anchorage is our home. After all, we have never known another. Perhaps, so where should I go to look for moors? This one hoped you would know. We are strangers here. Buying supplies is all we know, not hunting moors. Here was the moor that led to our anchorage. Here it had been for many years, yet on our return, dead. I'll see what I can do. Okay, so now next question is, do we go to Little Nihliesh? And that is a new little side quest. The Chiurgeon Swamp or the old slave block. Let's go to, I guess, the closest one actually. So off we go, deeper into the moor to Little Nihliesh. As you enter the slum, you crash into a small confrontation. 5 mutants surround 3 guards dressed in the distinctive garb of the Memavira's enforcers. Before you hear them say a word, you already know the mood here is ugly and is likely to turn to violence soon. A mutant who looks like his face is full of spores or insect eggs leads towards a disgusted, terrified human. You're leaving a trail of piss, Fear. Who'd pay you for protection? We're done with the Memavira. She's out. It ain't piss fear, it's a spit you're spraying when you talk. Why don't you go hatch your eggs by burying your face in a pillow? Real people are conducting business here. The second mutant, the one who'd been observing the fracas, noticeably bristles, thorns literally emerging from his arms, shoulders, and face. He pushes forward. Every down one. One of you looks the same. 2 arms, 2 legs, no surprises. You want to collect our money? I'll make you eat it. You and your friends can collect it from your rotten shit. The mutant punctuates each sentence with an increasingly vicious stab of its finger. You can feel a bloody tide rising. If you wish to intervene, the clock is winding down. Okay, so let's start. There it is. Chat with this one, will you? What do you want, human? You want to get in on overdue bloodletting? You better talk fast. We're itching to get started. Ask how the Memavira might retaliate. What can she do? The bloom is out. We're done with her. Her grasp be weak. They don't know or trust you. Yeah, that's true. Anytime you want to calm these mutants down, I'd appreciate it. It's just the Memavira's enforcers will come to double check on the patrol shortly. He opens his mouth to disagree, then realizes what you're saying. Ah, yeah, of course. The Memavira keeps a close eye on our patrols. This money is important to our operation, and she sends backup to make sure none of it goes missing. They're bloody-minded bastards, too. The mutants' muscles tense as they lean away. They exchange worried glances. Those thugs seem calm for men whose lives are being threatened. They recognize the words, but they don't seem to believe they're in much danger. Okay. Let's see, Rin.
I can take on the world.
Ask the mutant how the thing started. Came to protect their collection money for the Memavira. But the Memavira can't enforce anything. She's weak. Everyone knows it. Look at those poor specimens. Can't even protect themselves. They're noticeably less hostile. You might manage to escape without bloodshed if you play this right. Okay, Matkina. Okay. Let's urge the mutants to keep the patrol alive. Alright, she sucks at doing this. We've already started on this, so Makina. Yes! Mutant's leader looks at his fellows and back at you and makes some calculations. I understand you want to stay on the Memavira's good side, but it has to end. Unless you can think another way, we've got to put them down before they steal the last shin in little Nihliesh. They no longer glower at you. Indeed, they almost seem intrigued. So they're going to have posture again, I hope. Both sides. Okay, let's chat with the Sarge here. Ask what the Memavira does with the collections. She pays us mostly, and the mercenaries who come through the moors, the bribes to take us cliffs officials, but she's been falling further and further behind. Like as not, she'll want vengeance if we fall. She needs this money, and she'll use the nastiest tricks to get it back. Okay. Thugs are alert. Don't believe violence is imminent. Okay. What would you have of us? Ask out started. We make this route every month. We're collectors. It's our job to bring in revenues for the Memavira from our loyal subjects. But they laid in wait for us, jumping us as we walked into little Nihliesh. Okay, so I think this is a sign that fights aren't literally about to erupt. Okay. End turn. Rin? Persuade the mutants to let the humans go. Yeah, they're concerned that they'll fight dirty. Yeah, trust us deeply. Come on. Oh, nice. The mutants leader looks at his fellows and back at you. He makes some calculations. As you say, these are deaths we can save for another time, eh? No need bloodshed with outsiders witnessing. They look at you, and an unspoken agreement fills their eyes. The human sergeant wastes no time. But thanks, he says over his shoulder as he hustles towards the exit. We won't forget this. Much obliged for your help. The Memavira will help hear this. And we avoided a fight. And we didn't have to give up any money to do so. Ancient structure. So yeah, it looks like they ate a town in the past. There's a more. Oh, this is going to be a nice big area to explore. Oh, look at that. Interesting. There's a vehicle. Oh, this vehicle. Right. Ah, I see. This is literally a vehicle track, and it's just gone straight through a building. I don't want to go in just yet. Who do we want to look at? Got these mutants, got these various things to see.
Alright.
Got guards. Alright, let's just go for a quick wander in this area. Well, this looks like some kind of weird robot no one's dealing with, so let's poke around at this. A construct lies motionless and partially disassembled here. Spider-like legs splayed around it. A piece of knowledge clicks into place. This was a creature known as an accelerator, a machine intelligence housed in a mechanical frame. Though they appear fearsome, the creatures are terrified of death, always seeking new technology to incorporate into themselves in the hope of prolonging their lives. So let's inspect it. You studied the remains of the construct, putting the details together, noticing the scattered piles of refuse and burnt holes in the backs of its armor. It was lightly cornered here, tried to flee them up the mound of trash rather than fight its tormentors. They attacked it from behind, and it fell, either dead or dying. You peer between the plates in the carcass's interior. Judging by the scratches, gouges, and broken components you see inside, someone purposely jammed a blunt pole into the construct's innards in an attempt to crush its vital systems. Whether this happened before or after its death is unclear. You notice something odd. Some of its wounds are partially repaired, as if someone's been visiting the dead construct and haphazardly patching over the burnt holes. That's really vivid. Like, I can picture the death scene, but also then, like, the idea that someone is trying to do right. I really like the scene that paints. You've searched for a few minutes, find nothing of value. Scavengers must have long ago picked this construct clean. Absently, you lay your hand upon the metal shell to push yourself away from the wreck, and feel a faint, intermittent vibration. Reach into the hulk and find the source of vibration we felt. So, who... Oh, wow, Machina, go for it. So, putting her shoulder up against one of the construct's vertical vents, she reaches into the dark, probing carefully, following the vibrations rippling towards you. Straining, you walk your fingers up the mesh-swaddled objects, across the cable to a partially crushed cube strung with frayed wires. You recognize the cube as a construct's intelligence casing. It was catastrophically, perhaps deliberately damaged. The construct is well and truly dead. You carefully shift a loose hunk of metal from the cube's surface aside, looking for the source of vibration. A wave of wordless sorrow crashes over you, tinged with flecks of hope. Your gaze shifts back to your hand and the hunk of metal. The alien emotion came through it into you. As if summoned by thought, a small floating sphere drifts into view. It prods at the cube with a beam of light and vibrates softly. Watch the sphere at work. The sphere drifts around the inside of the dead construct, occasionally halting to, yes, it's repairing the damage, as if patching holes in armor will bring its host back to life. Every few moments it returns to the broken cube and attempts to repair it again. When nothing happens, the sphere vibrates. When that happens, you hear a soft series of whirring clicks. You listen to the soft clicking for a long while until you realize you're making the sound yourself beneath your breath, speaking the words of grief in a machine's tongue. I'm sorry. I forgot. Come back. Come back. Take the sphere module. You pull the communication module from the surface of the cube, and the sphere follows, shivering in the open air. It turns as if taking the ruined hulk one last time, then settles into your palm, obediently, shuddering. Ah, that's pretty beautiful, really. So this is a bonded artifact that gives us healing. This little... yeah. This little spherical flying automaton is a faithful companion to whoever bears a small module used for maintaining telepathic connection with this automaton. If the bearer is damaged, the automaton is activated and tries to repair the damage. The automaton's mind has a tendency to wander, and it takes some mental acuity to maintain its focus through telepathic connection. Though it seems an ideal companion, it's not historically provided a long life for its owners. Tales tell of a rough-hewn and simple glaive who took a very direct approach to any problem she faced, depending on the Chiurgeon sphere to recover her wounds as she flung herself into battle. Unfortunately, one day the sphere found more interest in a passing butterfly than a fight with a deadly Caloriel. Awkward. So, is this... So it gives you a ability which will heal you each round. And it's a bonded item, so alright. Poor little thing. That's really cute and terrible at the same time. So here is that. Who has a free bonded artifact slot? Eridus does. Matkina does. Matkina, I think you could use a friend. I mean, sure, you get minus 15 on might tasks, but I'm not using you for might tasks anyway. That's for Eridus to do. How are we doing on XP? Okay. So, Eridus is nearly to tier 4. Cool. Alrighty.
Look out below. Above.
Who do we want to deal with? Let's go look at this more. A reddened mass of flesh protrudes from the bloom wall, surrounded by a waving tentacle. Surrounded by waving tendrils, the flesh is thick and strong, glistening like a newborn beast. A jagged seam runs across its surface, with a faint light spilling from within. As you approach, all the sounds of Nihliesh seem to fade. Hushed conversation of mutants recede into the distance, replaced by the hissing, chittering voices of the bloom. Matkina lays a hand on her shoulders. "Amor," whispers Matkina, as if she didn't want to draw its attention. Her voice is very respectful. "Those waving tendrils, they're its tongues. The bloom is focused here. If it likes the smell of you, it'll take a bite. Probably best for our ilk to steer clear." Listen carefully to the bloom's voices. Your thoughts are still addled from drinking the water of the bloom, but its hissings and chitterings somehow make more sense to you now. You can't grasp the meanings of its sounds. You get the clear impression of desperate hunger for, not a living thing, but a feeling. Sadness? No, it isn't that. Regret? Closer, but no. Guilt. This more feeds upon guilt, but not any guilt will suffice. You sense it must be powerful and deeply held, or will be not enough to sate the more. And observe the behavior of the tongues. Yeah, they're not interested in me. So leave it alone. So this, we need to find someone who feels very guilty and would like to not feel very guilty. Interesting. That's an aspect I hadn't really considered of these.
You can do this.
Okay. Do we want to do anything with these things? Let's see. Let's start from the bottom and go up. So Delny and Vrung, what are you? This slim girl is almost a mirror of the boy who stands next to her. They could be twins or clones, so close is the resemblance. You can see that her features are sharp. The shadows flit and play too quickly across her face to be sure of anything else. She slumps almost imperceptibly inside of a cloak of darkness. As you open your mouth, her companion interposes herself. "Help!"
Making a note.
This sharp-faced young man reminds you of a great rodent, more prone to scampering and sidling than running or walking. Shadows play across his face, distorting his features, and you're unable to get a clear glimpse of his face. Even so, or perhaps especially because of it, he seems to bear a noticeable resemblance to the young woman standing next to him, their faces shifting and changing in near perfect time. At your approach, he sniffles loudly and drools some phlegmy spit across your path. He wipes his mouth at the back of his hand, though you can't see his face. His tone conveys the sneer clearly enough. "What do you want, Popinjay?" His voice echoes eerily, a slight delay between the movement of his lips and the sound reaching your ears. "Don't like the look of this one, better get rid of her fast." "You the pair that have been harassing Kian?" "What's she been complaining? What do you mean? Too scary. She can afford it, else we'll be visiting someone else more regularly." "And who's the girl with you?" For the briefest moment, you see the face of a victim in her shadows. She casts a despairing eye at you, and in the darkness fills her face with a sneer. "Her? She's no one. I am Vrung." "Why does a girl's face keep changing when you talk?" "Like I said, she's no one you should be concerned about. She's my shadow, my hidden blade. You should take care I don't stick you with her." "I asked you who the girl is." Why do you keep asking about her? Delny is mine, and she'll stay mine until I say otherwise. I'm the one who's interesting. I'm the one you should care about. Why won't you let this go? This woman's pissing me off. Vrung's rage seems to have loosened his control over his companion. You see a flash of blue skin beneath the shadows. Her mouth works frantically as if she's trying to tell you something while her captor struggles with his fury. With an effort of visible will, Vrung brings himself and her back under control again. What are you doing here? We're enjoying a breath of fresh air, taking in the ambience. We're living our lives to fullest. Laugh, Delny. We're having a great time. Psychic bond you have on her. Get rid of it. She is mine. She'll go on my word, not yours. Oh, a bleeding heart. Well, she can't do nothing about it. If you don't let her go, I will teach you what suffering truly is. Okay, so we're trained on intimidation. Okay. And he is not. We can dump all of our might pool. Yeah, totally will. Didn't realize intimidation would be a might check. Not ideal, but we can and shall. The young man opens his mouth for a sarcastic comeback, but realizes you might be serious. Alright, one moment. He concentrates, or rather doesn't concentrate, and the shadows flow away from his face and body. He's a much scrawnier person than you thought, almost gaunt. He doesn't look at all dangerous or menacing. Wonder how long this thug's gonna stick around the bloom. Maybe I can get it back someday.
Making a note.
He slinks towards the exit, quickly and quietly, vanishing around the corner. Delny drops to the ground as he vanishes, and her body begins to tremble and shake. Am I free? Oh god, it's the pain. Make it stop. Try to help him remain calm. Who has healing? I knew I gave it to someone. But yes. The thing is, does it compensate for just having a high edge? She does have more... No. I have a better chance. Just because I immediately get 3 free levels of effort. But, she would have a better chance overall if I let her put her back into it. Which I will. Her eyes snap open in blind terror, seeking any refuge from the nightmares that seem to be replaying in her head. She sees you then, and begins to relax immediately, her muscles unclenching one by one, and she eases out of her seizure. Thank the gods you're not wrong, she whispers. The shadows have peeled away, drifting into the air like poisonous smoke, revealing Delny's true form. Her skin is an iridescent blue, and her hair is bright pink. He's really gone. I can't feel him in my mind. You did it. Vahad be praised, you did it. She shakes her head as if to clear it. A small trickle of bluish blood runs from the corner of her mouth, where she bit her tongue or lips. I don't know how to thank you. You must have questions. We've had quite a time of it. How are you feeling? Even though I'm still in the bloom, and we're still surrounded by all this, even though I need to make amends with everyone I've robbed or bullied with wrong, I feel hopeful. It feels like a new beginning, like the night's been peeled away and discarded. How did you fall in with that jerk in the first place? He seemed dark and fascinating. The adults didn't want me to go near him, but he was like a mirror of what I wanted to be. Strong, mysterious, ambitious. I let him bend me and use my powers to make him more of what he wanted to be. Didn't realize I was trapped until it was too late. It was my psychic power that drew him to me. He saw what I had. He wanted to take it, use it for himself. He called me an empathic amplifier. I could read people. I could make their feelings stronger. He used me to find out who the scared people were. Then we preyed upon them. And then, tell me about yourself. I was born in Nihliesh. My parents were good people. I learned the walkways of the second tier by heart. That's how I discovered the portal to the bloom. I kept seeing the traders who came back from there. They always had such interesting wares. One day I snuck after them, wanted to see where they came from. That was the day the bloom closed its pathway to my home. Used to think it was my fault, but the bloom doesn't seem to care for me now. After I got here, discovered I couldn't get home, I had to find a way to survive. I found 5 families who were willing to help me and could afford to feed me once every few days. I helped them when I could and kept looking for a way home. But as I got older, I needed more excitement. That's when I met Vrung. Should have known better, but I was so lonely. No, never again. Aw. Fahad be with you. Okay. That's pretty neat, although She may also be one of the sources of guilt we would use here. Who knows? I kind of want to poke around with that. There's just so much stuff to do. Let's just, again, we're going from the bottom and going upward. So we'll talk with Herja next. This striking woman towers over you. Though she seems gaunt, and her skin is pale, even whitish, she still has a healthy glow that shines through a layer of dirt and grime. A flat circle of metal is affixed to her forehead, showing through her long blonde hair. At your approach she begins to flex and tense, not in fear, but in preparation to fight. Her heavy armor is scarred by energies and battered by blades, but she seems to have retained its integrity. The sigil of 2 crossed swords is etched into the prisoner. She glowers. Have you come to beat the poor prisoner? Then be ready to tell your friends about the day Herja bested you. Or have you come to question me? Tell Garkoto that my answer is unchanged. He can rot in his soup. I would appreciate not a soup. The food they provided here would shame a murder. Now the mutants have come enlisted humans to make me confess. What are you? Sorry, they are sick. I have no idea what you're talking about. She stares at you for a moment as if weighing the truth of your words. My apologies, I've been in this place too long and I'm leaping to unwarranted conclusions on the basis of no evidence. So, you want to ask me something? What's that sigil on your armor? She looks down, frowning as if she'd forgotten she was such an emblem. This is the symbol of the Angular Knights. The crossblades represent our ability to step beyond the laws of nations in order to deal true justice. We seek to reclaim the world for humanity's light. What can you tell me of them? The symbol of our order represents our willingness to step beyond the bounds of propriety and advance the cause of humanity. Actual humanity, you know. If we must take up the blade to meet our justice, we do not hesitate. We travel Midgard for the betterment of all, and those who oppose our mission soon see the errors of our ways, and the steadfast the order of truth itself blesses us. I'm a knight marshal in our organization. I've proved myself many times over, and I will continue to do so as long as I draw breath. She leans back, her eyes closing. Our hunger for justice brings great physical hunger as well. At one council, I recall, they brought us fresh waters distilled from the dew of mountains, roasted and spiced anine, and exotic flaming cheeses. We do not ask anything of those we aid, but sometimes their largesse humbles me. And what are you doing here? These mutants have accused me of a crime, so they tell me that I must confess to this imaginary horror before they will let me go. So here I sit, rotting away while they ask me to choose between the truth and my freedom. I choose to honor the truth. They have no laws and no souls. There can be no crimes against them. What a fucking racist. I want to talk about the allegations against you. Mutants claimed I poisoned them. A number of them died and they decided I was to blame. That's all they are. Allegations. Garkoto has no right to imprison me. I don't think you're telling me everything. Why don't you tell me everything? Yes, it's true I poisoned their water. Couldn't enter Nihliesh itself, but I heard this bastard offshoot of their clan wanted to slay one of the Fahad. I took the journey from the steadfast under considerable peril. I brought death with me. They are not human. They are not. Surely I did right by my people. This is the first time I tried something like this. I do not regret what I did. The mutant prince wishes me to show remorse. He will not have the satisfaction. What can you tell me about Garkoto? The mutant prince, it. I need to remember the mutant is both male and female, swims in its disgusting stew of a tank, bathing in its own filth. Somehow it summons power that keeps the rest of the creatures in line. They said Garkoto was a wizard. I didn't believe them until the mutant imprisoned me with its powers. Yeah, so the exit's just over there. Why don't you leave? For a moment, her eyes started to tear. Prince Garkoto has cast a spell on me. Here, let me show you. She steps towards you, reaching a hand to grasp your shoulder. Before she touches you, her fingers begin to bend as if they'd encountered an invisible wall. You see, but just in case I jest with you, she hurls herself at you, shoulder first, and rebounds dramatically, staggering backward. I'm confined to this space until I confess. Test it for yourself. You wave your hand and wave it through the air. You can even step closer to her and you feel nothing. She takes your hand and says, now step back. You do, and at the exact same point, her hand's torn from yours. They have to have that criminal. I suppose I fit that bill. yeah, because you fucking did it. Like, it turns out you actually totally did it. You're not some innocent victim. Yeesh. It's no wonder. And I guess next time we'll talk to Garkota, who's in here. Cool. And, maybe if we can make her feel guilty about being a goddamn murderer, we can use her to open the mall. We'll give that a go next time. Until then, have a great day. Bye. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.